Council Dr. Hussein Ali Mwinyi reinvigorates his government's commitment to strengthen the blue economy policy so as to yield intended results for the benefits of the people in the island. Dr. Mwinyi made the remarks at the State House in Zanzibar when he met and held talks with the spokesperson to the Commandant of the National Defense College, Ambassador Major General Wilbert Augustine Ibuge, and a delegation of 52 NDC students from 15 African countries, including Tanzania and other government employees.
Zanzibar has got a lot of trade between the coastal areas of both mainland Tanzania. So there's a lot of trade between Zanzibar and Dar es Salaam, trade between Zanzibar and Tanga, trade between Zanzibar and Mtwara. But we also have trade between Pemba and Mombasa. We also have trade between Zanzibar and Comoros. So maritime trade and transport is an important aspect of our economy as well. We are trying to increase the trade volumes between these coastal areas, and it contributes to our economy here in Zanzibar.
On the other hand, Major General Ibuge says the purpose of the visit that carries a slogan, strengthening business and security for a sustainable blue economy in Zanzibar, is one of the domestic tours to explore Tanzanian culture for the foreign students attending courses at the college.
The course members to really have the view of what Zanzibar is doing in terms of the many strides that are so much visible. Even as we just came in yesterday, and today as we go through the roads, we see what great things you are doing, Your Excellency. We wish you God's blessings and the victory that will continue to resonate with your great work that you are doing.
Other countries attending training at the college includes Botswana, Burundi, Ethiopia, India, Kenya, Malawi, Egypt, Namibia, Nigeria, Rwanda, Sierra Leone, South Africa, Uganda, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa says he's content with the preparations for the for the World Workers' Day celebrations on the 1st of May, and vows the government's commitment to continue to cooperate with the labor unions in the country. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa made the remarks in Arusha after visiting Sheikh Amri Abeid Stadium, where the May Day celebrations are expected to be held nationally, and President Samia Suluhu Hassan will use the opportunity to talk to the workers.
We are satisfied with the cooperation that you have among Workers' Association. We can talk and discuss about any issues that arises. We are in positive direction. I want to assure all workers that the government is here to help them and support them. We will continue to be responsible for every important matter.
Some of the workers have also expressed their optimism as the day nears.
We are happy that the president is coming, since her visit signifies hope and she will come to solve our challenges. The Workers' Day is a day that's celebrated by workers all over the world. It is also an opportunity to mark the contribution of the workers.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has witnessed the signing of 20 contracts for the construction feasibility study and detailed design of water projects costing more than 200 billion shillings, which will be implemented within 18 months. Speaking immediately after witnessing the signing, the Prime Minister warned local contractors to execute the projects once received, as some of them violate the contract agreements, stagnating the government's plans to be completed on time. Here's a report by Halfani Binde, read by Teddy Mparanyanga.
Earlier today here in Dodoma, Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa witnessed the signing of contracts for construction, feasibility studies and detailed design of water projects between the government and local and foreign contractors.
We have already signed all contracts for construction, feasibility studies and details designed of water projects between the government and local and foreign contractor worth 200 billion shillings. We will start to see the implementation of this project very soon.
Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa warned some of the local contractors who violate the contract agreements.
I urge the local contractors to change to be given such project to work on means that we value you. This is the big cry for the private sector. The government continue to implement this by providing you with projects. Plan effectively and use this opportunity to prove the government that you are working hard. Do not disappoint the government.
Furthermore, the Ministry of Agriculture clarifies its strategies in the irrigation sector.
The budget of 2022, 2023, 2024 and the upcoming one for 2024-2025, we will have 782 projects for the Ministry of Agriculture. We have few engines. The commitment on industrial, commerce, agricultural and livestock is well prepared and equipped.
Some of the political leaders and the government used the occasion to extend their words on various development projects implemented by the government.
The irrigation sector used to be given 30 billion. Today we are given more than 300 billion. This means that we are now responsible on ensure that we have enough food supply in the country.
As a committee, we were given an opportunity to visit these projects, and we thank the chairperson and congratulate him.
The Minister of Constitutional and Legal Affairs, Dr. Pini Chana, says Tanzania and Russia have agreed to deepen cooperation in the law sector so as to facilitate smooth economic operations for the benefit of the two nations. Speaking after visiting the Tanzania Law School in Dar es Salaam, accompanied by a delegation from Russia, the Minister, Dr. Chana, asserts that the visit of legal affairs experts from the Office of the Director of Prosecution in Russia will develop skills and knowledge of local practitioners in the field of law in the country.
Our two nations had a historical diplomatic cooperation, just as Ambassador Andrei mentioned before, yet we need this kind of reform. Let me take this opportunity to innovate more and develop ideas in collaboration. Distinguished delegates, following these presentations, I eagerly anticipate engaging with you in a robust discussion on potential areas of cooperation that could include joint training initiative, issues of cyber security, the creation of adaptable legal framework for new technologies, and culture and legal exchange.
Is attached by the government to preparing, grooming future law leaders of Tanzania.
The experts on legal affairs from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions of Russian Federation have given a lecture at the Tanzania Law School targeting to build skills and knowledge of those practicing the field in the country. Stakeholders in the agricultural sector have been urged to capitalize on modern technology to boost productivity and hence fully engage in cross-border trade that will promote regional integration. Here are more details.
The recommendation has been given during a meeting involving agricultural sector players in Dar es Salaam, targeting to discuss how to extend markets, improve agricultural policies, and explore best ways the government can handle cross-border trade barriers.
Agriculture is the sector in which Tanzania is most dominant in this region and has big potential in terms of increasing productivity, in terms of increasing value addition, in terms of increasing competitiveness. So we are looking at that area, how to tap those potentials so that we can participate more effectively through agricultural trade.
Transportation infrastructure, trade barriers, and inadequate market information often stand as a barrier between our farmers and lucrative export opportunities. However, amidst these challenges lies an incredible opportunity for growth and development. By investing in agriculture trade, we can unlock the vast potential of Tanzania agriculture sector and create ripple effects of prosperity throughout the nation.
Several businesswomen and men expressed the importance of the meeting to them and called on the facilitators to offer best recommendations on how to manufacture goods that meet international standards.
We are trying to engage more youth in terms of issues around policy and advocacy. Majority of the youth enterprises in Tanzania in general, their involvement in policy is very limited. One, maybe they are not involved as much, or two, maybe they might not have enough knowledge in terms of the policies that affect their businesses.
When we have to export our products, usually the challenge is that our packaging does not have the required quality standard. That aspect should be amongst topics that we should be taught.
The value of bonds sold at the Dar es Salaam Stock Exchange in the first quarter of 2024 has increased by 15%, equivalent to 952.10 billion shillings, compared to the amount sold with a total value of 827.92 billion shillings during the same period in 2023. Here are more details.
Unveiling the first quarter report in Dar es Salaam, DSE Acting Director General Mary Muniwasa says stock traded in the first quarter also increased by 183%, equivalent to 57.58 billion Tanzanian shillings, compared to 20.36 billion Tanzanian shillings traded during the same period in 2023.
Counter CRDB ndio imechangia kwa kiasi kikubwa cha thamani ya mauzo.
CRDB has contributed hugely in the increase of the value of bonds. It has increased by approximately 55%, following by TBL, which contributed approximately 17%, and NMB, which contributed approximately 10.31%, and lastly, Trigger Cement contributed approximately 10%. Total market capitalization decreased to 14.94 trillion Tanzanian shillings in March 2024, compared to 15.72 trillion Tanzanian shillings in March 2023, due to the decrease in the share price of foreign companies listed in the market. The value of the domestic market capitalization increased to Tanzanian shillings 11.82 trillion in March 2024, compared to Tanzanian shillings 10.82 trillion in March 2023, due to the
Deputy Minister, Prime Minister's Office, Labour, Youth and Employment, Patrobas Katambi, calls on young people to maximize on the economic opportunities created by the government and other stakeholders invested in the transport sector to employ themselves and be in the supply value chain so as to boost their income. Speaking during the Simba Supply Chain Awards ceremony held in Dar es Salaam, insisting the strategic projects implemented by the government are meant to benefit the locals, his word being supported by the Simba Supply Chain Director, Ali Deuji.
The people in board to make sure they get different opportunities, especially the youth, to get opportunities for employment, whether direct or indirect employment. Because a lot of money that has been taken, it has been injected to those projects. At the end, the impact is that they will have to get their own money to build up their economy, the economy of the family, and to contribute to the nation as well at large. And doing the same, she has invited a lot of investors to come, because we've made the regulation that are user-friendly to the investors.
Technical know-how can be taught to you, but your behavioral know-how has to be instilled from a grassroots level. That's why we're very happy that the Deputy Minister has come, where we have launched our behavioral competency framework, which I've given him a copy of, which emphasizes all the areas where employees should look at their behavior, improve them, And then if their behavior is correct, the technical competencies can be taught by us, can be taught by institutions also, can be taught by universities.
Each dove has its own features that identifies it. In Tanzania, there are many types of doves. Peter Mganga has prepared a feature story about the African mourning dove, read by Faida Ngaga.
The African mourning dove, also called the mourning-colored dove, is a pigeon that is predominantly distributed in sub-Saharan Africa. Their interaction with man and other domestic and wild birds portends it as a potential carrier of zoonotic parasites, but there is paucity of information on the parasite and hematobiochemical profile of African mourning dove. The mourning dove is 9 to 13 inches in length, with a wingspan of 15 to 18 inches. It has a grayish-brown body. There are 11 species of doves found in Tanzania, of which only 6 are likely to be hunted. These include dusky turtle dove, European turtle dove, laughing dove, red-eyed dove, and ring-necked doves, and African mourning dove. African mourning doves eat grass seeds, grains, and other vegetation. They are quite terrestrial and usually forage on the ground, unlike several other species in this genus. They are quite gregarious and often feed in groups. The mourning dove is named for its hunting and sad cooing sound. Its call is sometimes mistaken for the call of an owl. When the mourning dove flies, its wings make a whistling sound. This is the African mourning dove, a famous bird in the world. Once you arrive in Tanzania, you will have the chance to witness this dove with unique features.
Before we wind up the local news tonight, let us now take a look at today's exchange rates according to the Bank of Tanzania BOT. Don't miss TBC News every weekday to know all the latest in the exchange rates. Stay tuned for all the latest in the international news. And here's the international news as compiled by Ramadhan Impenda and read to you by Teddy Mparanyanga.
President William Ruto of Kenya has convened a special cabinet meeting to deliberate on additional measures required to mitigate the effects of ongoing torrential rains on life, property and livelihoods on the people of Kenya. The cabinet received and considered a weather focus report from the Meteorological Department indicating that the ongoing rains will persist in intensity and duration, and warning that the situation could get dire because the soils around the country are fully saturated. The cabinet has also directed the Ministry of Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development in Kenya to fast-track the rollout of social housing to accommodate the many people living in the informal settlements and giving priority to those that will be vacating the riparian area. Nevertheless, the cabinet has also directed all members of the public residing within these risky areas are required to move out within 48 hours. These include areas near dams and other water reservoirs in public or private land, areas prone to mudslides and landslides and riparian lands along rivers and other water courses around the country. The cabinet has further directed the Nairobi Rivers Commission, the Nairobi County Government and the ministry to work with the communities living along the three main rivers in Nairobi, Mathare, Ngong and Nairobi to create an additional 30 meters planning corridor. That corridor will be useful for the development of social housing, roads and other public utilities. Zimbabweans will start transacting in Zimbabwe gold, notes and coins on Tuesday after all banks collected the local currency from the central bank for distribution across the country. Giving an update on Tuesday in the capital Harare, the governor of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, Dr. John Mushevanyu, revealed that the authorities has finalized the distribution systems by the end of the business day this Tuesday. Over 21 days after the launch of the new currency, the wait is now over as banks have collected the notes and coins for transactions across the country. He said all the modalities have been completed and Zimbabweans can begin to use the currency depending on the logistics of each bank. Central bank authorities are upbeat over the use of ZiG for value preservation purposes. The governor of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, Dr. John Mushevanyu, also said that there is a need for Zimbabweans to use ZiG. He implores the nation to focus on a currency preservation system to facilitate ease and convenience to Zimbabwe. And a High Court division bench in Bangladesh has ordered the closure of the primary and secondary schools until Thursday amid an unprecedented heat wave that has smashed temperature records in the South Asian country. The order was issued following media reports that some students and teachers in parts of the country have fallen ill after classes resumed amid the ongoing heat wave. Schools and colleges reopened on Sunday after closing from April 21 to 27th during the extreme heatwave conditions. Bangladesh on Thursday extended the heat alert as the ongoing heatwave is likely to persist for 72 more hours, following earlier alerts issued on April 19th, 22nd and 25th as the Bangladesh Meteorological Department continues to monitor and respond to the challenging weather patterns affecting most parts of Bangladesh. On Tuesday, Bangladesh has recorded the highest temperature this summer season at 43 degrees Celsius in Chuadanga district, some 215 kilometers west of the national capital, Dhaka. Dhaka experienced a temperature of 40.6 degrees Celsius on April 16th last year, the highest in the capital in 58 years.
And that was the international news. Sports news is up next. In sports news, Young Africans head coach Miguel Gamondi says his team will apply the experience gained in the African champions to eliminate Tabora United in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup tomorrow. Gamondi insists despite having difficult times playing against teams that defend well, he's not afraid to face Tabora United, while Tabora United's assistant coach Masoud Juma says the match is a chance for them to manifest their skills and to play with big teams like Young Africans.
It's a quarter-final game in Cup. Always Cup games that are different, that are special. It's all about 90 minutes, and we expect to have a tough game. Of course, they coming from a great victory in the last game in Cup. We play at home. It's good for us to play at home as well, and we are ready to give another step for this Cup game.
Young Africans welcomes Tabora United at Azam Complex Chamazi Stadium in a quarter-final clash, and the winner will book a place in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. In related news, Young Africans President Hersi Said says recent success displayed by his team is the result of the experiences gained after the team played inside and outside of the country. He made the remarks after visiting TBC International Studios in Dar es Salaam. Young Africans is leading in the Tanzania Premier League with 62 points after playing 24 matches. Azam Football Club sits in the second place with 54 points after playing 24 games, while Simba is at third place with 46 points after playing 21 matches. Tanzania Football Federation TFF Legal Media and Marketing Director Boniface Wambura urges football stakeholders in the country to comply with the various rules, laws and guidelines issued by the Tanzania Football Federation so as to avoid legal actions associated with contractual elements either to the club or the player. Speaking to TBC News in Dar es Salaam, Boniface Wambura stresses that TFF will continue to administer its constitution while providing guidance to football stakeholders in enabling systems of football operations in accordance with legal regulations. And that's all for sports news. Before we conclude our news bulletin for tonight, let's take a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
Dear viewers, welcome to the next 24 hours weather forecast from Tanzania Meteorological Authority. My name is Margaret Masawe. Wind is expected to flow from south for the 40 kilometers per hour over the entire coast. The NTMA is issuing a warning of strong wind which exceed 40 kilometers per hour and large waves which exceed 2 meters. Therefore, precautive measures have to be taken. Rainfall signals are still seen in few areas of the country, especially over northeastern highlands. And tonight we expect partly cloudy condition and thunderstorms over Lake Victoria Basin and Kigoma. Northeastern highlands are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, rainy showers over a few areas. The rest parts of the country are expected to be dry. Tomorrow we expect partly cloudy condition and thunder showers over Lake Victoria Basin and Kigoma. While Kilimanjaro, Arusha and Manyara are expected to feature partly cloudy condition, rainy showers over a few areas and sun periods. And the same weather is expected over Lindi and Mtwara. The rest parts of the country are expected to be dry. Now let us see the next 4 days weather forecast for some regions of the country. From Tanzania Meteorological Authority, we thank you for watching us.
And that marks the end of our news bulletin for tonight. On behalf of the whole team, I am Kanki Mwegomole. Good night.